Namaskar. I Shambhavi welcome you all to your channel Galactic Echoes. So let's start exploring the wisdom of Vedic astrology. So, have you ever wondered that where in your chart your wealth, your fortune, your money and your prosperity is locked? Is it even there or not? So today we'll be talking about how to unlock your wealth, prosperity, money and fortune. Where to look for that potential wealth which is locked somewhere. And the most amazing fact is that these all things and these all karakas are ruled by only a single planet, which is Jupiter, Dev Guru Brihaspati. Jupiter rules all these karakas of wealth, prosperity, and fame, fortune, children, and even marriage. So, all these karakas are looked through the placement of Jupiter in your chart. So, today we'll be doing the Jupiter and its placement throughout all the houses in your chart. How will it manifest and how will it give results in your specific case? So, let's start our journey and let's dive in. So, Jupiter, the celestial teacher of the gods in Vedic astrology, Jupiter is not just a planet, it's a cosmic force of expansion, wisdom, and prosperity also. But did you know that its composition is scientifically 90% hydrogen? A sky element planet, that is the Akash Tattva planet, holds secrets to your wealth and life's key relationships. The hydrogen element, which it is made up of, reacts with a particular element which it is placed in. For example, if it is placed in a fiery house, that is in the first, fifth or ninth house, the hydrogen will react with that fiery element and will result in an exothermic reaction. So these are so many scientific terms, but yes, they can give us so minute and useful predictions which we can use in all the cases where we have to study its placement and the resources. So, in this video, we'll uncover the fresh insights how the Jupiter's placement exposes hidden wealth doors for you in your case, whether through creativity, through property, or through partnerships, or how. See, basically, the basic placement of Jupiter reveals a lot, but there is another layer inside it. Why its sky element, how it clashes or harmonizes with fiery, earthy, or airy or watery houses, which impacts your health, your relationships, and even your fortune. So these are the key themes which will be understanding, because you'll see so many videos on the placement of Jupiter through all the houses in your chart, and there are so much of content material available already on the internet and on the YouTube, so you can go and check it out. But you know what is the difference? So what is the newness we'll be doing today is the element mix and the scientific temperament and composition of that particular planet. How will you derive our predictions from that point? So we'll see it today how to do that. So let's start. So if you have your Jupiter in the first house itself, so if you have your Jupiter placed in the first house, that is the first house of your horoscope, which is originally a sign of Aries ruled by Mars, so it is a fiery house. The element of the house is fiery. You are a big-hearted, cheerful person who loves to laugh and make others feel welcome. You are often physically bigger, or you have a warm, full-bodied presence, like someone who gives great hugs to everyone. You share your happiness. You are naturally optimistic, love helping people, especially kids, and believe in giving everyone a fair chance, that there shouldn't be corruption in any case. You might even have different versions of yourself, like using different names or personalities to fit into a different group. But It's all a part of your easy going, the adaptable nature you have. It's just the you know the Jupiterian traits are in your personality. For women with this placement, your husband, because Jupiter is the karaka of the husband, often becomes a huge part of your identity. You might describe your partner as your soulmate. Even if he isn't super powerful or famous, the relationship could start in a place where physical fitness or looks matter. Like maybe you will meet your spouse in a sports setting, or in gyms, or places where related to modeling, something like that. For men with this placement, their wives will be focused on family background, and keeping a certain look in the family might be the most important thing to her. And she'll stay loyal to her partner, that is you, and your roots, no matter what happens in the union, because Jupiter is also the karaka of union or marriage. So also the men can see the nature of the union with this placement. Body wise, you folks might struggle with weight as you age. Even if you were slim or sporty in your teens, Jupiter's influence can make you gain weight later in your life, especially if you love food or you hold on to water, water retention or something like that. Saturn's aspect could help you people stay healthier, but without the aspect, you might get into a bit too relaxed state. So this can also harm your health. Now, still, people adore you for your positivity. You are the kind of person who gets forgiven easily, because you are just so, likable in all the groups and in all the networks you intermingle in. So, because of your likability, you are easily forgiven. You are also great with words, because Jupiter is also the karaka of language. You pick up a language easily, write well, and sharing ideas, you love sharing them. If you study hard with Saturn or Mercury's influence through its aspect, you could become expert in writing, teaching, or understanding cultures, different cultures. Deep down, you see language as a tool to connect people, not just rules or facts like the English grammar has or the Hindi grammar has. You are connected to the language, whatever language you speak, on a different level, in a deeper state. Now comes the important part. From where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? Where is it stored? Because you see, Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of the things in our lives which are immensely important to us. And the most important among all of these karakas is the wealth, because we live in Kali Yuga, and this is the most important thing, the wealth. So your natural presence becomes a magnet for opportunity. Like your Jupiter here suggests recognition, leadership roles, and community influence, or a platform where your authenticity shines, because Jupiter is in the Kendra house and the most auspicious house, which is the first house. Like think of doing promotional things and local fame, or turning your charisma into a trusted brand. The world rewards you for simply being yourself, because first house is you, the self. So Jupiter here suggests that you are the only catalyst for your wealth. Now, the most important thing is the scientific part of the element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is an sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to something, be it negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% of hydrogen gas. It is a gaseous planet. It is a magnanimous planet. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon in play. It is placed in a hot fiery place, which is the first house in your case, which originally, according to the Kalpurusha's Kundali, is of the Aries sign. So upon mixing these elements, we can predict that your early life is marked by a lean physique because of hydrogen's lightness. But Jupiter's expansive energy leads to weight gain post 30s. So this is the thing why you are so much lean before and then you gain weight over time. Now overconfidence risks health related to thyroid or liver. But fame arises from charisma, but moderation in diet and lifestyle preserves your vitality and well-being. So my advice would be your body is a hydrogen balloon which can expand, you know, in any direction. So you'll have to, think twice before eating junk food because it can seriously harm you. Now life tends to bless you with good luck, money and charm. You are spiritual and turn to faith or philosophy when times get tough. Your biggest lesson would be balancing your easygoing vibe with a little discipline so you don't overdo it. The comforts of life, But overall, you are the type of person who spreads joy, believes in the best of the people, and lives life with full open arms. So this is a very great placement, and Jupiter being in the first house, even if it is debilitated, will lower so many miseries. It has 50% of your chart is already blessed, so you don't have to worry much about anything in your life. And just don't overthink on things and don't get overconfident also, because then it is the only thing which will harm you in the long run. So let's move forward and let's discuss about the people having Jupiter in their second house. So, a person with Jupiter in the second house is blessed with a strong expressive voice and natural talent for communication, because it is the second house is already related to communication speaking. You might love singing, storytelling, or public speaking, and your voice could be loud, warm, or full of energy. Perfect for performers, teachers, or anyone who needs to grab attention with their words. You see, professors are also seen from this placement. You often have a big smile, a wide mouth, and a knack for making conversations lively and inspiring, because it is the Dev Guru Brihaspati which we are talking about. However, there is a catch. Your confidence in your own knowledge or opinions can sometimes go overboard. So you might talk a bit too much, or oversell your ideas, or assume that everyone values your advice as much as you do. Like, think of someone who is a little too proud of their own wisdom or stories, which can then be the factor which will harm you in the long run. But in all of these things, you always mean, your intention is always good. You don't want to harm anyone. Family plays a huge role in your life. Your relatives are usually supportive, generous, and might even praise you excessively for ordinary achievements, even making you feel special and becoming your support system throughout the life. The family might have strong traditions or religious beliefs, or pride in their history and values. Money and material comforts are important to you. You could come from a family that values saving, investing, or collecting things like heirlooms or property or knowledge. Over time, you might inherit money or assets, especially linked to land, education, or family businesses as well, because from the second house, family businesses are also seen. When it comes to wealth, Jupiter here makes you optimistic, like overly optimistic, sometimes too optimistic that you might overestimate how much money you have and how much valuable your possessions are, and how much you could earn if everything goes perfectly. So these are the miscalculations which you might do. For example, you might brag about your savings or future plans without considering the point, or the practical point, the practical limits. This can then lead to overspending or unrealistic financial goals. So if you are not careful, this can also harm you. But your positive attitude also helps you to attract opportunities, especially through your voice, your creativity, or your teaching skills, because teaching is primarily done through expressing and explaining things, which is the second house where mouth is involved. So Jupiter in the second house is a very strong placement for teachers and professors. Relationships are influenced by this placement. Like for women, Jupiter in the second house can mean that meeting your husband in places tied to money, history, or shared values like banks, family gatherings, museums, or even while managing finances together. Like maybe you and your husband were working for someone and managing their portfolio. So these all things can also be seen, because Jupiter is the karaka for husband in feminine charts, in feminine nativity charts. So Jupiter is a strong karaka which will indicate the presence of your husband. The husband might have a strong connection to your family's wealth or play a role in transforming it, like handling inheritances or investments, because second house is heirs from the seventh house. Family loyalty and maintaining a certain image or legacy matters deeply to both partners, that is you and your husband or your wife, because Jupiter is also the karaka of the union. Basically, how your marriage is after getting married, how is your union. So for the male natives also, you can see Jupiter for the quality of the marriage. How is the marriage and how will it manifest, what will be the life after marriage. So it is a very important planet in everyone's chart. Now on the downside, Jupiter's love for expansion can make you a bit materialistic, because Jupiter here is in its enemy's house, which is originally the house of Taurus. The sign of Taurus falls here in the second house in a Kalpurusha's Kundli, and the lord of Taurus is Venus, and Venus is a natural enemy to Jupiter. So negative outcomes of Jupiter, the negative qualities will also be enhanced somewhat in this placement. So because of that, you might chase luxury, overvalue your possessions, or believe your family's way of life is superior to others. Your confidence in your own beliefs or traditions is very firm. It is very much strict. You could also come off as a preachy or self-righteous person through these traditions. You might also enjoy the sound of your own voice a little too much, talking more than listening, especially about topics you are passionate about. Because Jupiter is also related to teaching and preaching. So here it becomes an important placement for this indication. Now, from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? The most important question is this: where is it stored? Because the Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives, and which are very important to us. And the most important among all these karakas is the wealth, because we are living in the Kali Yuga. So your skills are undervalued with this placement, because Jupiter is in its enemy's house. Jupiter amplifies your ability to monetize talents of speaking, cooking, or craftsmanship. You can negotiate raises. You can launch a small business or turn your likes into steady income. Your financial growth is inevitable if you honor your worth. Just don't settle for less. You have to chase that thing. You should negotiate for your raise. You should chase that thing. You should build that small business, which will then one day blossom into a prosperous, huge company or brand. So you'll have to take that into consideration. Now, the most important is the scientific element of mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is an sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to wherever it is placed, be it negative or positive. That we'll have to check through other scenarios also. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% hydrogen. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon is placed in a stabilized earth setting. Why? Because the second house is originally the house of Taurus. The sign of Taurus falls there, which is the second house originally in a Kalpurusha's Kundli. So upon mixing these elements, we can predict that your family wealth can fluctuate, because the hydrogen mixing with earth environment will do harm to some of the karakas of the second house. So maybe your support system, as I've already stated, that your family is the support system for you, maybe those people can harm you sometime if you go through Jupiter Rahu Mahadasha and Antadasha, or if you go through Jupiter Venus Mahadasha or Antadasha. So these are the things which can get manifested in your case. But I believe you should invest in some tech or sustainable ventures to avoid the depletion of your resources, your family resources. Also, this Jupiter casting its seventh aspect on the eighth house can give you a desire of having sudden gains, sudden positive transformations. But you should traverse that path wisely, because it can sometimes harm you too. Also, studying or learning about astrology can increase your prosperity and your wealth, because second house is originally the karaka of the accumulated wealth. So not everything is negative in this placement. Some things are good also, that you are likely a generous person with your money and knowledge, sharing freely with your loved ones. You have broad understanding of history, culture and art, which makes you great at teaching or preserving traditions, which can also be the key to your wealth. Your faith in people and optimism about life often attracts good fortune. Even if you occasionally stumble into overconfidence, you should stay balanced. You'll need to ground your big ideas with practicality. This is very important here. Listen as much as you speak. This is very important. And remember that true value isn't just about the money or status, it's about the heart behind their words and actions. So you shouldn't be judging people based on their speech, their face, or their accumulated assets. Because then, if you are going through a certain Mahadasha and if you are a certain ascendant, this placement can harm you a bit. So let's move forward and let's discuss this placement for the people having Jupiter in their third house. If you have your Jupiter in the third house, you are naturally a gifted, communicator. You love communication, teamwork, and sharing ideas. You love talking, teaching, and working with groups, because the third house is also about the projects and short meetings. Your conversations might sound a bit like a motivational speech or a classroom lecture. You enjoy sharing wisdom and inspiring others and giving advice to people. On a common note, people might even joke that you are a life coach or eternal optimist, because you always see the bright side and encourage people and everyone around you to see that and just ignore the negative aspects. You are great at managing teams, organizing projects, or leading meetings, and your confidence, it rubs off on others, making them feel hopeful and capable. That you are that leader that can lift people and that can convert raw potential of someone into an organized, structured capability. So this is something very important in your personality. Also, you thrive in roles where you can teach, train, or guide people, like uh, a corporate trainer, or in a corporate training setting, event planning, or even being a tour guide. Short trips for work, conferences, or workshops are especially rewarding for you. So the third house is very much active in your chart because Jupiter is placed there. You're the kind of a person who loves bringing friends, family, or co-workers together for gatherings, and everyone enjoys your cheerful nature, your friendly energy. You might have a lot of siblings, because Jupiter is also the karaka of expansion, and third house is of the siblings, cousins, or close friends even, who feel like a family, and you are always there to support them, because Jupiter does very well here in this house, the third house. Now if you are a woman with this placement, You could meet your husband, because Jupiter is the karaka of husband in female charts, at a place related to group setting, like through work or community projects, or even in a neighborhood event also. Your partner might remind you of a sibling or close friend, and the way they communicate, your sibling or your close friend, the communication way will be very similar to your husband. And teamwork is a big part of your relationship. You could be someone who manages projects, runs a business, or travels often for work. You'll respect his positive attitude, your husband's positive attitude, and ability to stay calm under pressure. Even if life gets busy with planning, meetings, or family events, you are still calm and you can go through that pressure easily. Also, with this placement, you are a natural writer, speaker, or storyteller. You might publish your own work, write blogs, or give talks on topics you care about. Your ideas are big and philosophical. You love exploring theories, your traditions, or your beliefs, because Jupiter is the karaka of all these things. But there's a catch. Sometimes you get so caught up in the big picture that you miss practical details. For example, you might prioritize ideals over actual results in business, or you might confuse a catchy slogan with a solid plan. Learning to balance your optimism with reality will help you avoid setbacks. This is the major lesson which you should learn from this placement. Your siblings or your close friends who feel like siblings bring luck and joy into your life, because Jupiter is also the karaka of luck, fortune, and joy. You are generous with them and they appreciate your open mindedness. And you might also have a knack for making money through writing, teaching, or some short term projects, especially if they involve teamwork or local connections or freelancing work. Just be careful not to overcommit. Your enthusiasm can lead to taking on too many projects at once, which you won't be able to complete within the timeline, within the deadline, and then you'll have to face problems there. Now, from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? The greatest question. Where is it stored? Because see, Jupiter is the karaka of at least a half a dozen of things in our lives, and which are all the karakas are immensely important to us. And the most important among those karakas is the wealth, because we live in Kali Yuga. The wealth is very important. So your potential wealth is locked in the third house, which is your words. They carry weight. Writing, teaching, or your strategic communication will open the doors towards that potential wealth. In your case, collaborate with your siblings or your neighbors also. Their ideas could spark profitable ventures for you. Social media isn't just a thing in your case, it's a hidden network of opportunity for you. So you should take it seriously, especially the social media factor, which is at so boom these days. Now, the other important question is the scientific part of the element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet, which gives the quality of the infinite expansion wherever it sits. So, the expansion can be negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% hydrogen. So, it is like a huge hydrogen balloon which is placed in an airy environment, which is the third house, which originally, according to the Kalpurusha's Kundali, is the Gemini sign. The third house falls there. So upon mixing these elements, the hydrogen and an airy environment, the sibling rivalry will manifest in your life at least for once. But profits will surely pour in through that, because it will transform you hugely. Because third house creates the Bhavat Bhavam situation from the 8th house. Also, profits from the digital content like blogs or podcasts are also possible in your case. So social media is a great factor. And the third house and the transformation is also a great factor, because third house is eighth from the eighth house. So overall, Jupiter here blesses you with a lively mind, a strong social connection, a gift of lifting others' spirit, other people's spirit. You are meant to shape your knowledge and share it with people, lead with positivity, and inspire collaboration. Just remember to stay grounded. Big ideas need practical steps to succeed. This is the major lesson which you should learn through this placement. Otherwise, it's a very good placement. In your case, Jupiter doesn't do much harm wherever it is placed. It is the life and it is the Jivakaraka. It blesses you with most of the opportunities and good positive karakas of that house. So let's move forward and let's discuss the placement of Jupiter in the fourth house. So if Jupiter is in your fourth house, you are someone who values home, family, and your roots deeply. You likely grew up in a supportive, generous household, because Jupiter gets exalted in the Cancer sign, which is originally the fourth house. And your traditions and cultural values were very important to you in your childhood. Even if your family wasn't wealthy, you felt emotional security there and connected to your heritage. Your parents or guardians probably gave you a good education and instilled pride in you and in your background. You might own multiple properties, vehicles, and land in your lifetime, or feel a strong pull towards farming, real estate, or managing houses, or something you building homes. The aspect of Mars is important for becoming, building homes or getting into that kind of profession. You are naturally patriotic and care about serving your community or country. But be careful not to let pride turn into arrogance. You might gain money or opportunities through hidden sources, and you know like inheritances or foreign connections, or investments in things like healthcare or property development. Your home is your sanctuary. You love making it cozy, welcoming, and full of life for everyone, whoever comes in your home. You might even collect things related to your culture, like heirlooms or art or books, to keep your roots alive. You are very much attached to your roots. So, this is a very important placement of Jupiter in the fourth house. In relationships, if you are a woman, you could meet your spouse or your husband, because Jupiter is the karaka of husband in a female chart, in a place tied to home, family, or education, or through your mother. Like you can also meet him in your childhood neighbor, a school, a kitchen, or a religious setting. Your partner might be someone who values security, stability, and traditions as much as you do, because Jupiter is, it's very comfortable in this place in the fourth house. Your marriage could focus on building a family, buying a home, or raising kids together. Jupiter is the major karaka of union and marriage, so all these things will be manifested in your life. You'll respect your partner's ability to create a safe, nurturing environment, even if life gets busy with parenting, managing property, or maintaining family tradition. You will feel that your partner and you are so much connected that you will feel happy to just be being busy in your day-to-day duties. You are drawn to wisdom and philosophy, but you might ignore red flags or negative truths to keep your home life peaceful. You prefer everyone around you to stay positive and optimistic, even when things aren't perfect. This thing can harm you in the long run. Your compassion runs deep. You care not just for your family, but also for pets, your employees, or anyone living on your property. Because Jupiter is that kind of person. It is basically the lord of ninth house. So that father like properties are always there in the Jupiter. Also, you might even expand your home or land to help others, like taking in relatives or supporting charities or helping other people or your neighbors with minute problems wherever you encounter them. Transportation is a big theme for you. You might own or dream of owning lots of vehicles like cars, bikes, boats, or even planes. Traveling or moving between properties could be a regular thing or a regular part of your life. Your parents likely had a strong influence on your community, and you might carry on their legacy through your own work or beliefs. If Jupiter is in a tough sign like Capricorn or in an anemical sign of Mercury or Venus, you might struggle with feeling emotionally distant from your mother or find it hard to care for others if you didn't get enough nurturing early on in your childhood. So, these things can also be manifested with a debilitated Jupiter or Jupiter placed in an anemical sign. Now, from where you will be able to unlock your potential wealth? Where is it stored? The most important question. Because Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives, which are immensely important to us. And the most important among all of these karakas is the wealth, because we live in Kali Yuga. So your home holds generational blessings because Jupiter is in the fourth house. Now, property investments, family heirlooms, or turning domestic skills into income is a major theme for you. Like, think of selling handmade goods or monetizing your family traditions. And security begins where you feel most rooted. Maybe you carry something, a special curry recipe which you can then sell, and gradually it becomes, a brand at place wherever you started that. Now the other important thing is the scientific part of the element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is an sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to any house wherever it sits, be it negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter is a planet contains hydrogen, 90% of the hydrogen in it. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon is placed in a watery environment, which is the fourth house in your case, which originally is the Cancer sign in a Kalpurusha Kundali. So it is a water environment sign, water element sign. Now, upon mixing these elements, we can predict that family roots may sometimes feel unstable, like regular relocation, property disputes, and the profit from real estate, technology, or ancestral crafts is a major theme in your case. Maybe you are carrying a special type of technology, ancient technology related to home, which can benefit you in the long run, which can also become your special identity, specific identity. Overall, you are a kind of generous person who finds joy in creating a secure, loving home. You believe in the power of tradition, education, and taking care. You think that if we'll raise our children good, in a good way, they'll prosper and blossom into a good being. Just remember to balance your big hearted optimism with practicality, because not every idea needs to be grand, and not every problem can be solved with positivity alone. Your gift is making the world feel like a warmer, safer place, one home at a time, is the important theme which you should understand. Overprotecting things, overly giving yourself to others and into making world a better place will do good for you, but overly doing it will harm you. So this is the major lesson which you should understand with this placement. So let's move forward and let's discuss this placement for the people having Jupiter in their fifth house. So now, if your Jupiter is placed in the fifth house of your horoscope, you are blessed with creativity, intelligence, and a love for sharing ideas. You might channel your energy into writing, into teaching, arts, or politics, rather than focusing solely on having biological children, which is the living karaka of associated with the fifth house. Your talents shine in areas like drama, storytelling, or public speaking. Think of yourself as a natural performer or philosopher who inspires others. You could even gain wealth through creative projects, also because these are seen from the fifth house, like publishing books or winning awards for writing something, yeah, writing a novel or earning royalties. These all things are seen from there. Now, politics, entertainment, or teaching might bring you fame, especially if you have a bold, charismatic style in your personality. So, these things are seen from this placement. Now, when it comes to the children, Jupiter here can be a bit of a mix. While you are great with kids, whether your own or your students or your mentees, you might have fewer biological children. Why is it? Like the Jupiter being the Karaka of children, sitting in the fifth house, the house of the children. Why is it so? That why it burns those Karakas, the living Karakas of that house. Also, adoption is also possible from this placement. So these things are seen from there. Also, we'll talk about the scientific part further in this section of the video. Why the Jupiter brings, it brings fewer children when placed in the fifth house. We'll also discuss the scientific part, but later on. But the major point to note through this placement is that if you have kids, they might teach you as much as you teach them, or they could be confident enough, outgoing personalities who demand a lot of attention because it is the original house of Sun, Leo. Fifth house is Leo. Loss or delays with children are possible, especially if other planets like Mars, Saturn are involved through its aspect or conjunction. But this isn't a strict rule. Things differ through particular charts. Now, always check your full chart for clarity. Now, if you are a woman, you could meet your husband in a creative or high profile setting, because husbands are seen from the Jupiter in female charts, like at a theatre, concert, political event, or even while working on a project together. Your partner might be someone who loves the spotlight, has a talent for performance, or shares your views and your passion for big ideas, because here the expansion of Jupiter and the expansive quality of it won't go down. Also, with this placement, their marriage might focus more on teamwork, creativity, or building a public image together than on starting a traditional family. Even if kids aren't part of the picture, you focus, you will respect your partner's intelligence and their ability to inspire you and others as well. So this is a very philosophical type of relationship which you'll share with your wife or your husband. Now, you're optimistic and you love taking risks, and especially in the games, investments, or creative ventures or stock markets, because these all are seen from the fifth house. But be careful, your confidence can sometimes turn into overconfidence. You might ignore practical details or assume your ideas are always right, which could then lead to setbacks. So this is the key lesson which you should learn. Now, balancing your big visions with grounded planning will help you succeed a lot with this placement. Your need for approval and admiration is very strong. You thrive on praise from mentors, audiences, or your students even. And you love being seen as a wise or talented person. Teaching, leading ceremonies, or performing rituals could fulfill this need. Just avoid being too self-centered or preachy. You just have to stay humble, and your natural charm will then will win people. Now, from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? The most important question. Where is it stored? Because see, Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives which are important to us. All these things are important. And the most important karakas of all of them, among all of them, is wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga. So creativity is your wealth. It is your wealth catalyst. artistic projects, mentoring youth, or taking strategic risks like investing or launching a passion project. These will flourish. Jupiter rewards boldness here, and what you enjoy doing could become your legacy. So through this, creativity, creation, or any kind of children also are your wealth, the most important karaka for your wealth. Now the other important question is of the scientific part of element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to anything wherever it is placed, be it negative or positive, that depends. And scientifically, the Jupiter is the planet that contains 90% of hydrogen. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon, and it is placed in a hot fiery place because Jupiter is placed in the fifth house of Leo. In a Kalpurusha Kundali, the fifth house is Leo. Now, upon mixing these elements, we can predict. This is the scientific part which gives you fewer children or delays for having children, but wealth and fame surge through creative risks, art, invention, speculative investments too. See, because of this element mix, the Jeeva Karaka or the living Karaka will be lowered, but the non-living Karakas will be heightened with this kind of element mix. Because see, Jupiter is already a very hot planet, and when hydrogen gas it reacts with fire, it results in an exothermic reaction. So this is a basic chemistry which we have learned in our class, but this gives our deeper insights towards this placement, that because Jupiter is placed in a fiery house, so it gives abundance of those things which are associated with the non-living karaka of that planet, be it the first house, ninth house, or fifth house, because these all are the fiery houses. Overall, Jupiter here blesses you with creativity, joy, and a gift for uplifting others, whether through art, teaching, or advocating, or advocating for children. You are meant to share your light. You should embrace this opportunity to perform, create, and inspire people. But keep your feet on the ground. This is very important. Big dreams need patience and practicality to truly shine. This is the biggest lesson which you can get through this placement, and you can use to unlock your potential wealth. So let's move forward and let's understand this placement for the people having the Jupiter in the sixth house. Now, if Jupiter is in the sixth house, you are someone who feels very much, called to help others, especially those who are struggling, or for those who are sick, or they are treated unfairly, because it is the sixth house of downtrodden people. You might work in roles like teaching downtrodden people, or counseling them, or healthcare sector, or social justice even, where you inspire people through kindness or your spiritual guidance also. However, there is a risk of accepting harmful situations as just part of life instead of actively fixing them. For example, if you might focus on comforting people in tough conditions rather than fighting to change the system which is causing that problem or that pain to that particular person. So this can lead to burnout or health issues if you ignore your own needs, because you are not trying to solve the root problem. You are just trying to be in rotation and just trying to give help to others. Health is a big theme here. You might face digestive problems, food sensitivities, or weight gain, especially as you get older. Overeating, allergies, or relying too much on medication, even the natural ones, it could bring challenges to you. You are prone to infectious parasites or conditions like bloating or endometriosis. Doctors might give conflicting advice, leaving you confused. Instead of chasing quick fixes, focusing on gratitude, balanced diet and habits, and holistic healing like Ayurveda could work better for you. This is the biggest lesson you can learn through this placement. Just Know that solving one health issue might bring up another, and patience is the key in this whole process. So don't get frustrated and just try to be as healthy as possible. Avoid the junk food. If you are a woman, your husband might work in a helping profession also, because Jupiter is the karaka of husband for female charts, like a doctor or a therapist or a lawyer or a soldier also. He could face challenges like health problems, debt, legal battles, or addiction if he is not into these professions. Despite his good intentions, he might clash with others or struggle with the hypocrisy. Example, some kind of spiritual leader who doesn't practice what they preach. These things are seen from the sixth house if your husband or your partner is not already involved in that kind of work. You will deeply care for him, but his conflicts or flaws could strain your relationship. Your marriage might involve caregiving, navigating crisis, or dealing with public criticism, because sixth house Jupiter, either you are dealing with these things, or you are just trying to protect your partner or your union from all these karakas of the sixth house, that you, because your relationship is strained, because you are trying to teach him that he shouldn't be getting this debt, because you are trying to teach him that he shouldn't be navigating this crisis like he's doing. So maybe that is why, Jupiter, wherever it sits, it is the most beneficial planet and it won't do harm, because the 6th, 8th and 12th houses are taken as the bad houses in astrology. But we should decode each placement, because every chart is different, and a planet sitting in a bad house has a great significance to it. And most importantly, a benefic planet like Jupiter sitting in the 6th house, 8th house or 12th house has a great significance attached to it. So you shouldn't be demotivated. You should try to decode it. What is it trying to teach me? What this Jupiter is trying to protect me from? These are the things which you should focus on, rather than thinking that your prosperity, your wealth, and everything, your money, your children, and your marriage is doomed. This is not like that. Now, the most important question: from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? Where is it stored? Because Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our life, and which are very important to us. And the most important among all these karakas is the wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga and wealth is important. So your potential wealth could be seen from this placement of Jupiter in the 6th house. That means that your excellence in daily work leads to abundance. Master your craft and start a health focused business, your job. All these things can lead to abundance. That whatever you are doing, be in it so much, soak yourself into that thing so much. You are that the living karaka of that thing, whatever profession you are in or whatever thing you do. You are just become the living karaka of that particular thing, because you need perfection. 6th house is of perfection. So the perfect, making the thing perfect is the key for you. Now, see, perfection cannot be achieved by anyone, and it is never achieved. Perfection is something which is never achieved by anyone on this planet Earth. So what to do? Maybe you just want to perfect yourself. You are the competition of yourself. This is this, that you have to perfect yourself. You have to compete with your previous self. You have to get better by each passing day. So this placement suggests this, and your potential wealth is locked here. Now, the other important thing is the scientific part of the element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion wherever it sits, be it negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% hydrogen. So, it is like a huge hydrogen balloon is placed in a stabilized earth environment or earth setting, which is the 6th house. The 6th house is originally, the Virgo sign falls here in the 6th house in a Kalpurusha's Kundali. So upon mixing these elements, we can predict through this placement that your job instability can be seen, but health tech side hustles, you can thrive in those things, like fitness apps, or giving advice to people through innovative use of social media. These things can be seen, and just getting yourself perfect day by day. These things are the important in your case. Overall, Jupiter here gives you a big heart and a mission to serve. You will grow through health struggles, complex relationships, and learning when to accept reality versus when to fight for change. This is the biggest lesson. Balance your idealism with practicality, help others without losing yourself, and remember that true healing starts with honesty, not just hope, which is represented by the planet Jupiter. So, serving people and making yourself perfect in whatever task you do are the keys to your wealth. And these two things, your perfection and your chasing to help or serve others, can also be conflicting and can become problematic in your life or in your path towards the final destination. So these are the karakas of the wealth too, and these are also the problematic things. So the most important thing which you should learn from this placement is the balancing. You don't have to be too optimistic, you don't have to be too pessimistic, you just have to balance it with your wit and with your patience. So let's move forward and let's understand this placement for the people having Jupiter in their 7th house. So now, if Jupiter is placed into the 7th house of your horoscope, you are someone who values partnerships, teamwork, and fairness. You will likely have many advisors, mentors, or people offering guidance throughout your life. You might work in fields like counseling, law, or public speaking, where you help others or negotiate or resolve conflicts. Your marriage or serious relationships will play a big role in shaping your life, be it negative or positive. But because we are talking about Jupiter, it is mostly positive. Your spouse could be someone wise, philosophical, or even spiritual, and they likely have a warm, generous personality. They might be tall or have a striking presence, though they could struggle with self control of indulgence over the passage of time. Now, the other important thing is that in relationships you are optimistic and expect the best from your partner. You might marry more than once, even later in life, especially if Jupiter is placed in the 7th house in a dual sign, that is, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, or Sagittarius. Your first marriage or your marriage, if you do one, could feel like a partnership built on compromise, like a team working together rather than just romance, because Jupiter here in the 7th house is in the Marnakaraka position. You might meet your spouse in a formal setting like a wedding, through a matchmaker, or while dealing with legal matters. So Jupiter in the 7th house is a very great karaka of an arranged marriage. They will value, your partner will value your fairness and communication, and you will respect their ability to stay calm and balanced during disagreements. It's an important trait in your partners. Your spouse might work in law, counseling, or a field where they advise others. And they could also be someone who loves teaching or spirituality or anything related to big ideas. Hope. Even if your relationship has challenges, you will focus on mutual respect and shared goals. However, there is a risk of giving too much freedom in the relationship, leading to imbalances, like one partner making all the decisions or uh, avoiding tough conversations with your partner to keep the peace. These all things will harm your relationship. Now these karakas can also apply for the males also, because Jupiter is the karaka of marriage, and you can see the quality of your union from Jupiter. Legally, you might face more paperwork, contracts, or even court cases than most of the people on this earth. This could include marriage related issues, business disputes, or public disagreements. Maybe you are the people who go for court marriages instead of the ritual thing. But your natural charm and fairness will help you navigate these smoothly if these are, the negative karikas are manifested. If Jupiter is in a challenging position like debilitation, your spouse might struggle with health or habits like overeating or avoiding responsibility, which could test your patience and could strain your relationship. So these are the important things which you can see through this placement. Physically, you or your partner might gain weight as you age, especially if Jupiter isn't balanced by Saturn's aspects. But overall, you are seen as likable and approachable, and someone who people trust easily. You will attract admirers and might even have fans who look up to you for your advice or your inspiration even. So this Jupiter isn't bad at all, even if it's in its Marn Karaka position. For women, Jupiter is the Karaka of husband, and here Jupiter can mean marrying someone who feels like a mentor or teacher. Your husband might guide you towards spirituality or intellectuality, and you will value his wisdom. He could also work in education, law, or religion, as I've already said. And if you marry more than once, each relationship will teach you something new about compromises and growth. So, this is a major theme in your case. Now, the important question comes, from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? Where is it stored in your chart? Because see, Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our life. And among all those karikas, the most important karika is of the wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga and wealth is very important. Your locked wealth or your potential wealth can be seen from this placement of Jupiter in the seventh house, which is that partnerships multiply your success. Marriage, businesses, or collaborations or client relationships will stabilize and elevate your finances. This is something important. Trustworthy allies are your bridge to resources, and you shouldn't hesitate to lean on them because they will be helping you in your crisis. Now, the other important thing is the scientific part of element mixing. Like, see, astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to it wherever it sits, be it negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% of hydrogen. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon placed in an airy environment, which is the seventh house, which originally is the sign of Libra, because in a Kalpurusha's Kundali, Libra sign falls there. So upon mixing the elements, we can predict that partnerships burn bright and fast, like legalized agreements to secure wealth can bring hurdles in your life. And see, the important thing with this placement is that partnerships is the that potential wealth which you can dig for, and the partnerships are the biggest hurdle in your life. So you have to balance it out, because Jupiter is the planet of hope. It gives too much of optimism, and too much optimism can be bad, because then we ignore the practicality of our life and of situations. So this is important, and you should understand it, that balancing it out is important. If you are not into these kind of things related to the seventh house, which are partnerships, client making, client dealing, so you should get into this. You might feel or see a surge in your finances through it. But if you are already doing it, then maybe those are the hurdles in your wealth. Maybe these are the areas where you should be finding, where you should be searching for the problems, because these are the problems in your case. So in short, Jupiter in the seventh house blesses you with, strong partnerships, a fair minded outlook towards life, and the ability to inspire others. Now, just stay grounded, balance the optimism with practicality, and make sure that your generosity doesn't turn into overlooking problems. Your relationships are meant to help you grow. So embrace the lessons they teach you and they bring. And the balance is the key to everything. So let's move forward and let's understand this placement for the people having Jupiter in their 8th house. Now, if Jupiter is in the 8th house of your horoscope, your life is likely full of hidden opportunities, sudden changes, and deep transformations. You might gain wealth or knowledge in unexpected ways, like through inheritances or through investments or even through secretive knowledge or subjects like astrology, mysticism, etc. So these surprises, they often come disguised as challenges such as crises, losses, or major life shifts. But Jupiter here helps you to turn them into blessings because Jupiter is the most benefic planet. For example, a job loss could lead to a better career, or a health scare might inspire you into adopting a healthier lifestyle. So these things can be seen from this placement. Now relationships for these people, they are very intense and mysterious for you, for all the people having Jupiter in the 8th house. If you are a woman, you might meet your husband because Jupiter is the karaka of husband in female charts in a secretive or private setting, like a confidential project or in a spiritual group, or while dealing with shared finances like inheritances or banks. Even your partner could have hidden wealth, work in finance like taxes or inheritances or something like that, insurance even, or know a lot about taboo topics like the occult, mysticism, astrology, or alternative healing methods like reiki. Your marriage might involve secrets like undisclosed money or private agreements, but it could also bring financial growth through your spouse's family because 8th house are also the in-laws, or through your investments, the shared investments of you and your partner. Even if your partner seems reserved, they will likely be generous, optimistic, and possibly involved in teaching or spirituality. Also, with this placement, you are drawn to mysterious psychology or the occult or astrology, as I've already said. Maybe you are practicing it, that is why you are watching this video. You might study astrology, meditation, or energy healing, or have a talent for uncovering hidden truths. And transformative experiences like therapy or near death events or spiritual awakenings could shape your worldview. That maybe in some younger age you went through these things and it shaped your perspective. Now surgeries or medical procedures might also play a role in your life, but Jupiter's influence often helps you recover well. That surgery was needed so that in order for you to be healthier. So whatever it is done from the 8th house, surgery or losses, or it is for the betterment. Financially, you benefit from shared resources. This could mean inheriting money, receiving a settlement like alimony, or gaining through your spouse's assets. However, delay or disputes over inheritances are also possible if Saturn's aspect or is involved, or if Saturn is in conjunction with this Jupiter. You will need patience and good legal advice in that case. Your partner's family might support you financially or offer your valuable connections, which then can pour into your prosperity and wealth because 8th house are also the in-laws. Health wise, Jupiter here can bring resilience but also overindulgences. Like you might struggle with weight gain, digestive issues, or hormonal imbalances. Surgeries could also be necessary in certain cases, but they are likely to improve your health or your life, as I've already said, because 8th house is also the karaka for longevity. Avoid self medicating or ignoring symptoms. You should seek balanced and holistic care. Whatever is the thing, if there is something wrong in your body or in your health, you should attentively attend to it. Now, spiritually, you believe in rebirth and life's deeper purposes. Tough times strengthen your faith, and you might find comfort in rituals, prayers, or philosophy if this Jupiter is not retrograde. You could mentor others through their own transformations or write about taboo topics, because 8th house is also the hidden, it governs those taboo topics. However, watch out for overly dogmatic teachers or gurus. Some might hide hypocrisy behind those wise words, which then can harm you in the future. So, you should always look for these things. For men with displacement, it can mean having a permissive spouse who tolerates your flaws or extramarital interests without major consequences. For everyone, Jupiter here encourages generosity. You will share resources freely, but set boundaries to avoid being taken advantage of. Because this placement is seen in one of the biggest politicians of USA, and I won't name them, but yes, their spouse, they knew about all the extramarital affairs which are seen from the 8th house, and because he being a male and having this placement, his spouse didn't do anything about it, but she knew about all these things. So this can also be seen that your spouse has come to terms with it, with if you are a man and having this placement, because maybe they are getting something from this union which they cannot find elsewhere, or maybe they're too generous or hopeful that one day it all will end, which is keeping them not saying anything about it. Now, although with this placement, the Jupiter in the 8th house, children, you they might be fewer, but if you have them, they could teach you profound lessons. Adoption or stepchildren are also possible through this placement. Focus on quality over quantity in family life. This is a major key lesson which you can learn from this placement. Now, from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? This is the most important question. Where is it stored in your chart? Because Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives, and all these karakas are very important to us. And among all those important karakas is the karaka of wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga, and wealth is very important. So, your hidden wealth or your potential wealth is locked in the hidden assets, inheritances, or investments, or ventures with others or others' money. You shouldn't be overlooking reselling vintage items or freelancing work. They hold surprising profit for you. Jupiter here favors struggles, risks, and all those quiet financial moves. Hidden investments with your husband or with your wife, and through your in-laws. Running a business, maybe you should give some portion of that business as a token of appreciation or gratitude to your in-laws. Maybe then you can find prosperity. You have to include that 8th house factor in your case to unlock that hidden wealth. It is very important. Now, the other important question is of the scientific part of element mixing. Astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to it, be it negative or positive, but you'll see that expansion. Scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% of hydrogen in its composition. So it's like a huge hydrogen balloon placed in a watery environment, because 8th house is originally a Scorpio sign falls there in a Kalpurusha's Kundali. So upon mixing these elements, we can come to the conclusion that inheritances delays can be seen, but gains from taboo niches are definite in your case, like psychology or recycling, maybe like starting a podcast related to crimes, or maybe starting an astrology channel. All these things are connected from the 8th house. Here, you see, the living karakas can, with this placement, living karakas at some point in your life can be your hurdle. They are your in-laws or your spouse's family, immediate family, which includes mother, father, and their siblings. But non-living karakas profoundly manifested in your life, and because Jupiter is the only planet which does extremely well in this 8th house, and other planets are not welcomed here in the 8th house. Eventually you will get all those things, but maybe your in-laws can be a hurdle. Maybe they are not the hurdle, but challenges are coming from their side. Maybe you want to direct your attention towards your business, but you are inclined to direct your attention towards them due to their ill health or whatever crisis they are going through. So these things can be seen. But overall, Jupiter in the 8th house teaches you to embrace change, trust hidden blessings, and find wisdom in life's shadows. Stay open to surprises, but stay grounded. Not every secret is worth chasing, and not every risk will pay off. So, you need to learn that balance. Your gift is turning chaos into growth. So, face challenges with faith and practicality, and don't be impatient, and just try to balance everything out. Now let's move forward and let's understand this placement for the people having Jupiter in their ninth house. So, if you have your Jupiter in the ninth house, you are someone who loves learning, exploring beliefs, and seeking wisdom. You might study multiple religions or philosophies or theories, and you are always curious about how different ideas connect. Teaching, preaching, or writing about big topics like spirituality, politics, or culture could be a big part of your life. You are naturally optimistic and believe in the good of humanity. You might work in charity, activism, or education systems and to make the world a better place. Traveling, especially related to spiritual or educational destinations, are likely in your case and in your life, and they excite you very much. And these travels are long journeys, not short trips, because short trips are seen from the third house. Your relationship with your father or father figures like your uh, dads and mentors or your teachers shaped your beliefs. They might be confident, even a bit overthinking or overbearing, but they instill pride in your roots. Also, if your Jupiter is not very well placed in the ninth house, and if your father wasn't around, a stepfather or an uncle or mentor could have played this role for you in your life. You might also become a father figure yourself, guiding others with your wisdom, with your words, with your language. But just be careful not to become too preachy or self righteous. Balance your confidence with humility to avoid turning people off, because this Jupiter in the ninth house can create the situation of Karak Bhav Nash, which is a concept in Jyotish where the significator of that house or the original lord, because in a Kalpurusha's Kundli, Sagittarius, the Mool Trikon sign of Jupiter falls in the ninth house, and Jupiter sitting there in the ninth house can destroy its Karakas, can destroy that bhav. So the most important thing in your case is not to become over optimistic and not to be over righteous. In relationships, if you are a woman, you could meet your husband, because Jupiter is the karaka of husband, in a setting tied to learning or spirituality, like a university, temple, or a philosophy group. He might be a teacher, a priest, a politician, or someone very much passionate about the big ideas. Your marriage could focus on shared beliefs or intellectual connections, but there might be clashes if he challenges your cultural traditions, because you yourself are very much firm on your cultural traditions. You will respect his knowledge and role in your growth, even if his strong opinions test your patience, but you will be determined on your beliefs. Also, with this placement, we can see that you are drawn to careers in education, religion, or international work, or professors, diplomats, spiritual leaders, or writers also. These all people, they often have this placement. You will thrive in roles where you inspire others, but avoid jobs that limit your freedom to explore ideas or doing redundant work. Financially, Jupiter here can bring luck through teaching, publishing, or travel related work. If Jupiter is strong, You might gain wealth and fame because it is a fiery house, but stay grounded. Don't let success make you arrogant, because there would be, this placement can create huge imbalance which can result in arrogance. Spiritually, your beliefs in a higher purpose, and you might practice rituals, meditation, or prayer on a daily basis. You feel connected to divine guidance, and you might mentor others on their spiritual path if Jupiter is not retrograde. But watch out for fake gurus or rigid beliefs. Not everyone who claims wisdom is trustworthy. This is very important lesson in your case. Stay open-minded and let your faith explore with experience, but don't be too much rigid on your beliefs. Don't try to involve in conservational beliefs also. Family life might involve balancing global ambitions with local roots. You will want to pass on traditions in your kids, but your busy schedule, you will be inclined to spend less time with your children. If you have children, they'll admire you, your idealism, but might need you to be more present in their lives. Adoption or mentoring could also fulfill your parental instincts with this placement. Now, from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? The most important question. Where is it stored? Because Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives, and among all those karakas, the most important one is the wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga and wealth is important. So, where will you be able to find that wealth, that potential wealth in your chart? With this Jupiter placement in the ninth house, knowledge, travel are your wealth keys. Teaching, going on cultural ventures, or global connections, selling online courses, or doing import export work, or consulting will thrive in your case. Your prosperity will thrive through these all things. A mentor or foreign contact may change your financial trajectory like never before. So these all things are seen from this placement. The next important thing is the scientific part of element mixing. See, astrologically, Jupiter is a sky element planet which gives the quality of infinite expansion to wherever it sits. And that expansion can be negative or positive. And scientifically, Jupiter is a planet which contains 90% hydrogen. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon placed in a hot fiery place, because ninth house original is the Sagittarius sign falls there in a Kalpurusha Kundali. So it is a fiery house. The element is of fire. So upon mixing these elements of hydrogen and fire, we can come to the conclusion that your father may pass early on in your life, or you can face conflict with him, like disputes over inheritances or ideological clashes. But this loss fuels your independence. Wealth flows from foreign ventures, higher education, or spiritual branding, or a father figure or a guru itself. Because a karaka will be lost and then a new one will be created. This fiery reaction of hydrogen and this fire element will result in an exothermic reaction, which is the important. So it will harm the living karaka of that house, which is father. But your luck will shine through these things. Overall, Jupiter here blesses you with curiosity, generosity, and a big picture view of life. You are meant to share knowledge, inspire hope, and bridge cultural gaps. Just remember, wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about staying curious, humble, and kind, even when others disagree. This is the most important lesson in your case. The world is your classroom, so keep learning and teaching with an open heart, and just stay balanced. Don't wobble and don't let that arrogance flow inside you. So let's move forward. Let's understand this placement for the people having their Jupiter in the 10th house. If Jupiter is in your 10th house, you are someone who's meant to shine in your career and public life. You will likely work in fields like teaching, leadership roles, politics, or spirituality, where your wisdom and your big ideas inspire others. People see you as a respected figure, maybe even a local celebrity, or because of your optimism, generosity, and ability to handle responsibility. Although it's in the debilitation, original place of its debilitation, because Capricorn sign falls here, but it gives you wisdom at your workplace, because a debilitated Jupiter will not do much harm. It will protect you from the vices of your workplace. This is how we decode the debilitation of Jupiter. Your job might involve education, religion, cultural projects, or managing large organizations. You are a natural leader, and your reputation grow over time as you stay true to your values at your workplace, especially because from 10th house we see the workplace. You care deeply about fairness and inclusion, even if you work within traditional systems like you know like government or established institutions. You will push for positive changes that help more and more people. For example, you might advocate for better schools if you are into administrative services, or ethical policies, or programs that support communities. Your public image is tied to your beliefs. You are seen as an honest, principled, and trustworthy person. People might look up to you as a mentor or role model, especially if you are in a visible role like a professor or a CEO or any spiritual guide. So you are then there shining in your career already. So, in relationships, if you are a woman, you could meet your husband, because Jupiter is the karaka of husband, through your career or at a high profile event. He might be someone in a leadership position, or like a politician, or an executive, or a public figure who shares your values. He will have that humility in himself. Your marriage could boost your social status, and you will admire his professionalism and dedication. Even if the relationship forces you into challenges, you will stay loyal to the partnership because it aligns with your you know public goals. Public dignity is very important with this placement. Financially, Jupiter here brings luck through your career. You might earn well from jobs in education, media, publishing, or international work also. Property, savings, and family wealth, like inheritances, could also grow over time. However, avoid getting too comfortable and stay humble. This is very important. And don't let success make you arrogant, because Jupiter here can feel that arrogance. If it is conjunct with Rahu, making Guru Chandal Yoga in the 10th house, this arrogance can flow in you in a very smooth and speedy way. So you should check for that. Travel, medication, or working abroad might play a role in your success. You'll gain opportunities by thinking globally and staying open to new cultures. Spiritually, you believe in serving others, and your work might involve charity or mentoring. But be careful. Some people in power might feel threatened by your idealism. For example, a government or a strict institution could push you back in your ideas and challenge the status quo, whatever position you are in. Health wise, Jupiter's influence here helps you to stay resilient, but stress from your busy career could lead to burnout or exhaustion. Focus on balancing work with rest, and avoid overindulgence in rich food or ignoring minor health issues, because this is something which you should take care of. Your legacy will be tied to your public contributions, and you will leave a mark through teaching, writing, or leading projects that improve society as a whole. Even if you face criticism, your kindness and integrity will keep people rooting for you. Just remember, true leadership, it isn't about fame. It's about making a difference without losing sight of what's fair and kind. This is the theme which you should be traversing in your whole life, because Jupiter is also the Jeeva Karaka and placed in the 10th house. Now, the other important question and the most important question is, where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth from? Where is it stored in your chart? Because Jupiter is the Karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives which are important to us. And the most important among all those Karakas is the wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga, so it is very important. So your career success is written in your chart, which we can see with this Jupiter placed in the 10th house. Leadership roles, entrepreneurship, or becoming an industry authority are within your reach. Your reputation attracts high paying opportunities. Your own expertise. So you should be focused towards achieving that reputation and that expertise. It will then give you the outcome of prosperity and wealth in your case. This is very important. You have to be there in the 10th house, claiming your authority, and there is where you will be able to get wealth from, your prosperity from. Now, the other important thing is of the scientific part of element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to the house wherever it sits, be it negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% hydrogen. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon which is placed in an earth environment. It is in a stabilized earth setting, which is the 10th house, because the original 10th house in a Kalpurusha's Kundali, their Capricorn sign falls and it makes it the earth sign, earth element sign. So sudden career shifts because of hydrogen's lightness can be seen, and hybrid roles like remotely working in traditional fields can bring fame in your case. So you have to innovate yourself, innovate your working. You have to be into hybrid roles. For example, hybrid cars are the ones which you can run on petrol as well as on diesel and as well as on CNG gas, whatever the resources are available in market. You have to be similarly, you have to act similarly in that way at your work front. If you are into business, maybe you are going through all the kind of pitches. Maybe you are pitching something in a mature note, and then you are pitching something in a lighter note, and then you have to establish that mixed hybrid personality at your workplace. You have to just let them know that you can do whatever is given or assigned to you. This is the most important thing. But career shifts are a major theme in your case, and these are for the betterment. You will see this happening throughout your life, which will eventually lead you to a better place. Overall, Jupiter in the 10th house blesses you with purpose, respect, and the chance to inspire others. Embrace opportunities to lead, but stay grounded. Success is sweeter when you share it with others. This is the most important thing which you should learn from this placement and which you should work upon. So let's move forward and let's understand this placement for the people having Jupiter in their 11th house. So, if you have your Jupiter in your 11th house of the horoscope, you are someone who thrives on friendships, big dreams, hopes, wishes, desires, and teamwork. You are naturally optimistic about your goals and believe good things will come your way eventually, especially when you collaborate with others and in your friend circle or with your elder siblings. Your social circle is likely large and diverse. You might have friends from different cultures as well, or different backgrounds, and you love being part of your group and different events or online communities. Think of yourself as the person who is always organizing gatherings, connecting people, or cheering everyone on. You are drawn to big events like festivals, conferences, or spiritual retreats where you can meet like minded folks and people, and you can share ideas which can then blossom into something which will eventually help the downtrodden people, the downtrodden masses. Also, your ability to stay positive and see the bigger picture helps you inspire others and attract opportunities. Money often comes through partnerships, group projects, or unexpected connections, like a friend recommending you for a job, or a social media post leading to a big break. These all are the cases which you can see happening in your life. You are lucky when it comes to promotions, bonuses, or earning through commissions. These all are likely in your case because your Jupiter is placed in the 11th house, and the sign of Aquarius. 11th house is the original sign of Aquarius, and Rahu is the co-ruler of that house. If you are a woman, you could meet your husband, because Jupiter is the karaka of husband, through friends, social events, or community work, or social media also. He might be someone who's great at networking, works in team oriented job, or loves hosting parties. Your marriage could feel more like a friendship, built on mutual respect and shared goals. Even if things don't work out romantically, you will likely, stay on good terms with your husband or with your partner, staying connected through friends or shared projects. Your partner's social skills and cheerful personality will make you proud, and you will admire how easily he connects with people. You are a natural fundraiser or community leader. People trust you to bring everyone together on the same page for good causes. Whether it's raising money for charity, or organizing a local event, or starting a new project, they people always believe in you. Your friends and colleagues see you as a wise and generous person. They will often turn to you for advice or for encouragement, because you are that happy soul around them. You are the type to throw big dinner parties, volunteer at community centers, or mentor younger people in your field. Maybe you are that person, or you are that college senior who would always be there for their juniors, helping them out. Financially, you are lucky when it comes to group efforts, investing with friends, joining a business or a partnership, or crowdfunding. All these projects could take off in your case. You might also inherit money or receive support from older siblings, because 11th house is also the karaka of older siblings, cousins, or even mentors. Just avoid overspending on social events or taking too many risks. Balance your big ideas with practicality and with practical planning. This is very important in your case. Health wise, Jupiter here can make you prone to overindulgences like eating too much at parties or skipping workouts because you are busy socializing. But you should stay mindful of your habits and find active ways to hang out with friends, like hiking or joining a sports team. Then you will be able to fulfill both the karakas of socializing and having your body fit. Spiritually, you believe in the power of community and giving back to everyone. You might volunteer, donate to causes you care about, or use your social influences to spread positivity. Your legacy will be tied to the connections you will build and the lives you have uplifted through your generosity. This is very important. And you are the person who places that good positive thought on their status and on their Facebook wall, so that everyone can read that and can have a good day. Now, from where you will be able to unlock your potential wealth? The most important question. Where is it stored in your chart? Because see, Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives. which are important to us, and the most important among all those karikas is the wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga and wealth is important. So your network is your net worth. Group projects, crowdfunding, or social media influence will generate immense income for you. That is where your wealth is stored. Friends and followers become clients in your case, collaborators in your case, or your first investors also. And you should stay open to collective growth, because there is where you can find success. Now, the other important question is of the scientific part of element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet which gives the quality of infinite expansion to it wherever it sits, be it negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% hydrogen. So, it is like a huge hydrogen balloon placed in a airy environment or an airy setting, because 11th house is the original house of Aquarius in a Kalpurusha's Kundali, and Aquarius sign is of air element. So 11th house is also of the air element. So because of this element mixing, we can predict that social circles expand, but true allies are few in your case if your Jupiter is combust or retrograde. Crowdfunding can make you succeed in your career and can increase your wealth and prosperity, but you should always check upon those people in your social circle that might harm you. This is important, because this element mix will give hurdles from the Jiva Karaka or the living Karaka of that 11th house, which are also your older siblings as well. So maybe your disputes with them can affect your wealth or prosperity. So you should always maintain a good relationship with your older siblings and your friends. And especially you should find that hidden enemies in your social circle, because you are prone to those things. So this is something which you should look upon. But overall, this Jupiter in the 11th house blesses you with friendships, opportunities, and a talent for turning dreams into reality. Keep surrounding yourself with people who inspire you. Stay open to new connections, and remember, true success isn't about what you achieve, but about how you lift others up along the way, because you have to consider that, the masses factor and uplifting them, because your Jupiter is in the 11th house, the original house of Aquarius sign. So let's move forward and let's understand this placement for the people having the Jupiter in the 12th house. So if your Jupiter is in the 12th house, you are someone who finds wisdom and growth through solitude, spirituality, and exploring the unseen. You might feel deeply connected to your ancestors or your spiritual guides or your dreams also, or your subconscious state, because all these things are represented from the 12th house. Like, you are someone who is being quietly guided by forces beyond the everyday situation. You feel those things in you. Your imagination is vivid, and you often retreat into your inner world to reflect, meditate, or daydream. You are drawn to foreign cultures, mystical practices, or working behind the scenes in roles like healing, research, or spiritual counseling. You love doing all those things, and you should be doing that, because Jupiter is the Jiva Karaka. Your Jiva is present in the 12th house, so you should be definitely doing that. You are naturally compassionate towards people who feel isolated, like those in hospitals, prisons, or faraway places. You might volunteer or work in healthcare or support causes that help others heal, especially in these crisis situations of isolation. Traveling to distant lands, especially for spiritual retreats or pilgrimages, could change your life or your life view. You are lucky when it comes to finding peace in quiet places like monasteries, beaches, or your own cozy bedroom. You want that peace everywhere and that quiet everywhere. Now, if you are a woman with this placement, and this Jupiter is the Karaka of husband in a woman's chart, so you might meet your husband in a foreign country, during a meditation retreat, or even in a dream. He could be someone who is private, imaginative, or someone who lives far away, meaning connected to foreign cultures or backgrounds. Your marriage might involve long distance periods, or cultural differences, or a shared love for spirituality. Even if you grow apart, you will feel a soulful connection to him through your intuition or your dreams or your subconscious. You will admire his wisdom but may struggle with his emotional distance or hidden struggles. Maybe he's not that much open into the union, but you want him to open up. But he isn't, because he is a reserved soul, which can strain your relationship. Financially, Jupiter here can bring unexpected gains through foreign connections, inheritances, or hidden opportunities. But money might flow out as easily as it comes in, because the 12th house is also the house of expenses. And where is it, going out from? It is from the places like donating to charity, spending on traveling, or supporting spiritual projects, which are good things. You should be spending on these things, but stay mindful with savings and avoid overspending, or on escapist comforts like luxury retreats or impulse buys. That maybe I was so much inclined to buy this thing and I did that, and now it is of no use. You shouldn't be adopting that habit. Health wise, your body and mind thrive in calm environments. Stress or overindulgences like rich food or lazy habits could lead to weight gain or fatigue in your case. Gentle exercise, meditation, or holistic therapies like Reiki or yoga or meditation will keep you balanced. Listen to your intuition. It often warns you before health issues arise. Spiritually, you are a natural mystic. You might have prophetic dreams, communicate with your ancestors, or feel guided by unseen forces. Practices like prayer, astrology, or energy healing come easily to you. You believe in redemption and might teach others about forgiveness or inner peace. If Jupiter is well placed in a well placed sign and not debilitated and not retrograde. However, watch out for overly idealistic beliefs. Balance your visions with practicality to avoid feeling lost in fantasies. This is important in your case, because Jupiter gives expansion to wherever it sits, be it negative or positive. Your career could involve working in hospitals, spiritual centers, or research labs. These are all the places of isolation. You are great at jobs that require imagination, like writing, therapy, or designing sacred spaces. Success often comes through quiet, behind the scenes work rather than public fame. You might also mentor others privately, helping them heal or find meaning in tough situations or in tough times. Family life might feel distant. You could live far from relatives or have ancestors who influence you strongly. If you have kids, they might study abroad, need extra care, or inspire you spiritually. Adoption or fostering could also fulfill your parental abilities or your parental instincts, because Jupiter placed in the 6th, 8th, 12th house gives adoption or stepchildren. Now, from where will you be able to unlock your potential wealth? Where is it stored? Because, see, Jupiter is the karaka of at least half a dozen of things in our lives, and all these things are important to us. But the most important karaka among all those things is wealth, because we live in the times of Kali Yuga and wealth is important to survive on. So, intuition guides you to hidden wealth. Behind the scene works like freelancing, creative projects, or spiritual ventures will flourish. Also, the businesses related to your feet, basically shoe business or anything, basically selling anklet or jewelry related to feet, can also flourish, can also get wealth in your case. So your prosperity is logged in the 12th house, in the feet of others, and Venus gets exalted in this place, in this 12th house. So you have that potential to unlock that immense wealth through either working in isolation or in private settings, or doing the work of the 12th house, meaning shoes or things, making socks or something like that, which is related to the 12th house, meaning your feet in any way. Now the next important thing is of the scientific part of element mixing. See, astrologically, the Jupiter is a sky element planet, which gives the quality of infinite expansion to wherever it sits, be it negative or positive. And scientifically, the Jupiter as a planet contains 90% hydrogen in it. So it is like a huge hydrogen balloon placed in a watery element or watery element house, because the 12th house in a Kalpurusha's Kundali is originally the house of Pisces. It's a water element house. So, what we can predict through this element mixing, through this scientific part, it is that like hidden health struggles, like sleep disorders, yet wealth from anonymous ventures can come, like ghostwriting or telehealthing, meaning uh, consulting people over telephone about their health, or ghostwriting for someone. You have to be anonymously present to get your wealth. You cannot reveal your identity because your Jeev Karaka is in the 12th house. Also, because what problems can you be facing with this placement? You can be facing sleep struggles or some dangerous or scary subconscious projections coming into your dream. So these all are the things because of which you are not able to sleep properly. So these are the things which you can see from this placement of Jupiter in the 12th house. But overall, Jupiter here blesses you with deep intuition, compassion, and a rich inner world. You are meant to heal, inspire, and bridge the gap between the seen and the unseen, because 12th house is the unseen realm of this world. Embrace solitude, the isolation, but stay connected to loved ones. This is very important. Don't desert them. Your journey is about finding light in the quiet corners of life and world. Trust that even in isolation, you are never truly alone. And just connect to people you love and share your problems and insecurities with them. And this is a very beautiful placement in my case, and can get good gains and a beautiful life to you all. So this was my understanding of this topic. When your Jupiter is placed in the particular houses in your horoscope, tell me your insights and experiences about this topic in the comment section below. Were you able to relate with all of these predictions? And also, do not forget to suggest me some topics on which I should make the videos. And also, the important reminder that Jupiter transit video will be coming in a couple of days. So don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.